Hey, Max, you and Clayton have obviously been two of the elite pitchers of this generation. Can you talk about the respect you have for each other and how meaningful it is to pitch with him for a common goal?
Yeah, obviously what he's done in his career, I mean, it's remarkable. Obviously we came from the same draft class, and everything he's accomplished, it's been great, and it's been great to compete against him. You push yourself to try to match what he can do. So the fact that we can now again be on the same team and actually compete for the same prize, and I'm sure as as this keeps going along, we'll be able to share more kind of tips and tricks of how we think, and just recognize different situations of how we both have evolved over the years of how we see the game now and how we can pitch around things.
Thanks, Max.
Next question's from Juan Toribio. Go ahead.
Hey, Max, obviously you had a decision if you had a choice that you can kind of veto a trade wherever they traded you, but what was this destination kind of, a place where you and your family could have gone?
For us, for me personally, I was kind of really wanting to kind of, wasn't, the ultimate, but I did want to stay in the National League. I have familiarity with this over here, especially for these last 2 months. And obviously wanted, be in warm weather. That's a good thing for me for pitching as we finish out this year. So obviously LA was, being as talented as they are, obviously that was a team that, one team that I told the Nationals that I wasn't necessarily going to dictate which team I was going to go to, but rather which team I would accept a trade to.
And obviously you played with some really good teammates and some really good teams, but it's kind of crazy to share a clubhouse with Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, Albert Pujols, and just kind of guys like that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool coming in and be able to give Albert Pujols a hug. You can say that about much of these other guys as well. I mean, this is an extremely talented group. I've gotten a chance to compete against them over the years, and I realize what they can bring, and what this organization has done over the past handful of years, and obviously what they're capable of doing this year. And so it's fun to join these guys because we have a great chance to win, but it's going to take just a lot of work to be able to get there. Nothing's assured yet.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead.
Yeah, Max, I think what Chelsea was trying to ask is, what has this last week been like for you and your family, kind of uprooting everything and moving to the other side of the country?
Yeah, crazy. Crazy is the understatement too. It'd been a lot easier before kids and dogs and everything, but now with 3 kids and 4 dogs, life's a lot more hectic now. So yeah, we're picking the circus up from DC and trying to get out here to LA as quick as possible.
And you mentioned, hugging these guys and being in the same clubhouse with them. How much of a reset is it for a competitor to now be on a team that you've had some pretty competitive games against?
Yeah, this is the life in Major League Baseball. You can be competing against everybody for a handful of years, and all of a sudden, boom, you're teammates, and that's just the way the game goes. And so, for me, being at different All-Star games and getting to meet some of these guys, I've had some working relationships through off-season stuff that we've had to talk to on different things that are going down through the game. So I was familiar with some of these guys coming over. I've gotten to talk with them, meet with them before, but this is what it is. You got to come over here, and now we have a new goal together, and that's to win. And so it's the best goal there is, and I'm sure we'll all get along pretty well.
Next question is from Bill Shakin. Go ahead.
2 things, Max. Quickly, did the Nationals ask you to approve a trade to anywhere else but the Dodgers? Did it get to that point?
I don't need to go into those details.
Okay. And secondly, you're going to be in an interesting environment tonight, as I'm sure you know. There are some folks that say what happened with the Astros was years ago and it's time to move on. There are Dodger fans, obviously, you'll feel a little differently. From your perspective, what do you think about where we should be this many years after the fact?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a right answer or a wrong answer for that, because how Dodger fans should feel is how Dodger fans probably feel. I can only speak for myself. I was in Washington when all that was going down, and fortunate enough, we were able to win the World Series against them. So for me, thank goodness that happened. And, for me, I've been able, for me, I was able to put a lot of things in the past and find a way to move forward on this. So it's tough for me to speak how Dodger fans would feel, and specifically how I would feel if I was in the other side of this. So, for me, I'm kind of going to defer on that.
Next question is from Fabian Ardaya. Go ahead.
Hey, Max, just going back to last Thursday, I mean, when you came off the mound for that start or getting back to the clubhouse, how far along were the trade discussions to your knowledge, and how was the rest of that day for you?
Yeah, it was really a crazy kind of series. I mean, kind of really started having conversations that, that the trade was going to happen, that the organization, the Nationals were going to be looking to move pieces at the deadline. And understand I did have some type of say, but I was driving myself crazy trying to make a decision there in like 2 days. So the thing that gave me clarity was to try to just, instead of trying to pick a team, just say, all right, where would I go to and just accept the trade to. And for me, actually, I think it went final. We were actually on a bus going back down to DC. And was just on the bus when it finally went final, and then got the phone call from Mike Rizzo to say I've been traded to the Dodgers. So that's how it goes. You almost find out on Twitter. I mean, Twitter knows all.
Let's try this again. Go ahead, Chelsea.
Hey, is this better?
All right, now we can hear you, Chelsea.
Perfect. Sorry about that. Just quickly, now that you've kind of seen how it all shook out, what's your perspective and how do you look back at sort of the national teams you were a part of, and what's your perspective on the way, they kind of dismantled that team over the last couple days?
I mean, the first and foremost is that we won a World Series there. I mean, that the flags fly forever. That means everybody's time in DC, everybody's hard work is have that banner there. It's something that we'll always remember, and so happy that I was a part of it. To be, on those teams that were in the postseason, but then finally be on the team that punched it all the way through. So that at the end of the day, that's what we play the game for, is to win the World Series, and we accomplished that goal. Obviously, had discussions with Mike Rizzo about the direction of the team, and his words were that the roster needed to be retooled, and that given where everybody was at in their contract status, that he needed to give a facelift to the organization to provide resources and obviously stock up on the minor league system as well. So it's unfortunate, but that's just necessary things that happen in baseball. The economics of baseball can usually dictate things like that. So it is what it is. You got to be a major leaguer. You got to be a pro. And, for me, I was kind of a, casualty of that. Hey, look, I'm getting traded. But for me, it's an opportunity to come to another organization to win. And when you talk about trying to win, this is a team that won the World Series last year, and a team that's obviously talented. Obviously, the Dodgers are in first place, but there's work to be done. And that's why I'm excited to be here to go out there and try to win.
Next question is from Rowan Kavner. Go ahead, Rowan.
Hey, Max, I know Trey's obviously not here yet, but does it make it any easier to go through this with a guy and a teammate?
Yeah, it definitely makes it easier to have Trey come over and bring, just kind of be in the clubhouse together. To be, for him, I know it's going to be way more strange, because the Nationals were the only organization he knew. So for me, I've had some experience. I've been traded. I've been free agent. I have appreciation for the business of the game, of how these things happen. So I'm not too fret about it. But but at this point in my career, I've kind of seen everything like this, kind of inspired with other guys in their careers as well. So you just take it in stride and you go out there and you do what you do.
Has he asked you for any advice on kind of just dealing with it?
To show up, do your job, and play hard and win. Usually, all the other stuff's kind of hoopla of going through it, and for me, it's just the way the game tries to confuse you and plays mind games with you. But at the end of the day, it's still 60 feet 6 inches. You still got to get those hitters out. So you got to find all the ways in the world that it's actually the exact same.
Next question is from Bill Plaschke. Go ahead.
Yeah, Max, the attitude in this community is pretty much championship or bust, and the expectations on you are going to be huge. In your short time here, have you been able to sense that whole attitude, that whole culture that's here?
Well, I'm glad I'm part of an organization that wants to win and has their sights on the ultimate prize. I mean, that's what we play the game for, is to do that. You know, I've been in the league long enough to know that those things just don't always happen, and things don't always fall into place the way they do. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of team chemistry, takes everybody playing the best baseball they can in October. In October baseball, funny things happen sometimes. So, you know, I understand why we're here. I understand we have a great team, and the fans should feel that way. But as a player, you can only control what you can control. You can't worry about other people's expectations. All I can do is go out there and pitch my game.
Next question is from Mike DiGiovanna. Go ahead.
Yeah, Max, it seems like this triceps thing was pretty minor last week, but considering the timing of it, was there any trepidation going into that Thursday start?
A little bit, but not really. Just because of what it was, but you know, was able to get into that start again, get 6 innings in, and so you know, getting over here, I'm actually real happy. You know, real reason I actually really enjoy coming to the Dodgers here is Keith Pine. He worked with me. He's one of the trainers that was with me in DC, and now he's here with, you know, I get to be with him again here in LA. So, you know, he's worked wonders on me before. So if I have any kind of ailments, nicks and bumps, you know, I always trust him to be able to fix those things up.
Got time for a few more. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Max, you said before you got traded, you wanted to go to the National League. When you become a free agent, is it the same thing, or will you be more wide open to the American League as well?
Yeah, for free agency, that would be obviously different if, you know, if that happens. For a midseason trade like this, just some, you know, to finish out the regular season here, you know, I still want to have that familiarity with the league of guys who I've faced before. And that was, not going to say that was the only, you know, determining factor here, but it was just one, you know, thing that I did want to stay in the NL. It wasn't going to be the ultimate thing, but it was a factor.
Last one's from Scott Miller. Go ahead.
Hey, Max, back to the 2 days last week. You said Twitter knows all on the trade rumors, but for about 3 hours last Thursday or Friday, Twitter had you going to the San Diego Padres. I know a lot of people in that city were very excited. A lot of baseball thought you were going there. Behind the scenes, did you fall for that because of Twitter? And I know you said you talked with Mike Rizzo. You were in contact with him. By that time, did you think you're going to San Diego, or by that time were you in touch with Mike and you knew more behind the scenes what was going on? And how did it come to be? You said you got clarity when you finally decided, instead of steering yourself to one team, to say, well, these are teams I'll go to. How did that process come about?
Yeah, you know, when Twitter was going off and the way you're describing it, you know, we have teammates. I mean, you know, I was kind of aware what was going on, but I hadn't gotten that phone call from Rizzo to say that was a done deal. I mean, just in baseball, whenever you see things like that, rumors are rumors until you actually get the phone call. And so the fact that Twitter was going off and I hadn't gotten a phone call, I knew something else was probably still in the weeds. So, you know, that's what it is. You can't always fall for Twitter, but Twitter usually is pretty good.